everybody. Welcome to another week of Makers Monday. I am Anastasia Radloff, aka Stampin' Blondie, and welcome to your weekly step-by-step live crafting event. I hope you all had an amazing weekend and are ready to follow along with me today as I create two projects using the Snailed It bundle from the January through June mini catalog. Now let me just make sure that I am live here on Facebook and that I can follow along with your comments. If you're watching, make sure to comment. Let me know that you're here. Say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun each week to see where everybody is joining me from. Now, if you're watching this via replay here on Facebook or on YouTube, make sure to comment. Let me know that you were able to watch along there as well. Like I mentioned, I hope you all had an amazing weekend. Today has been a crazy hectic day at work, so I am happy to be home and spending some time with you crafting these fun projects today. Now, like I mentioned, we have two projects featuring the Snailed It bundle. Now, this is from the January through June mini catalog, and unfortunately, these items may be retiring come June. Now, they're not carried over into our annual catalog, so that could be an indication that these may be leaving us at that time. But until then, we can enjoy their fun products and we will create some really adorable projects with them. Now, if this looks familiar, these projects are actually featured in my April's card class. Registration for that ends this coming Saturday, so if you really like the projects that we are going to create here together, you can create 8 more in our April card class. Details on how to register for this will be posted in the description of this video after I'm finished. All right, let's go ahead and switch the camera here today. And there we go. So like I mentioned, we have two projects featuring the Snailed It bundle. Now this is found on page 54 and 55 of our January through June catalog. Now this is an entire suite of products. There is a stamp set with a coordinating die set, designer series paper, some twine, which is pink or petal pink and whisper white, and some resin hearts. Now, if you follow along with me each week, I have something called Prize Patrol. Now, what exactly is Prize Patrol? All you have to do is share this video to be entered into this week's Prize Patrol. Now, last week I showcased some fun products using the pastel pearls. Now, the winner for this week's Prize Patrol is Melissa B. Mitchell. So congratulations to Melissa. She is our Prize Patrol winner for last week. So like I mentioned, all you have to do is share this video. Sometimes Facebook doesn't let me know if somebody has shared, so make sure to comment that you shared so you can be entered into winning. Our Prize Patrol this week are the resin heart embellishments. These are really cute embellishments and they are part of the Snailed It suite. They come with red and whisper white, and they're these adorable little hearts that we're going to be using on our projects today as well. So all you have to do is share this video, comment that you shared, and you can be entered into this week's Prize Patrol, which is the resin heart embellishments. These are really cute on Valentine's Day projects, but of course any other time of the year you can always use heart embellishments. So we've got the Snailed It suite, page 54 and 55 of the January through June mini catalog. It features the Snailed It stamp set. And this is a traditional red rubber stamp that you adhere to your clear blocks. It's got sticky on the back. And some of these images do have coordinating dies to go with them. So these are the snail dies, and it has this really fun picture frame die in there that you can create some fun projects with, and we're going to actually use it on our projects today. And then these mushroom dies, this actually folds up into a little teeny tiny envelope that you can attach to your projects. And this stamp right here, the Happy Mail Enclosed, fits into our rectangle postage stamp punch. So this coordinates with a punch, and then some of the other images go along with our die set. Now, coordinating with our dies, we have our designer series paper. The Snail Mail 12 by 12 Designer Series paper is featuring the Real Red, Blushing Bride, Daffodil Delight, Bermuda Bay, and Basic Gray. Now, I really like this Designer Series paper because it can, some of the images can be die cut with our dies. So I'm going to show you that today, but I'm going to fussy cut them just so we can do it a little quicker. But these images here, the bonjour, hello, those coordinate with our die that is right here. So you don't even have to fussy cut these images if you don't want. Now the April card class features the Snailed It stamp set, and everybody receives a package of the 12 by 12 Designer Series paper, some other little goodies in their class kit. So if you're liking these projects, make sure to sign up for April's class. Okay, so our projects today are going to be perfect for beginner stampers. These projects are easy to create and perfect for all skill levels really, but really those true beginner stampers, because there's not a lot of stamping that you actually have to do in them. So speaking of April's class, we are going to create 4 projects, 2 of each design, using this same bundle. So this is our first project. This is super cute. There's actually no stamping on this card at all. This is all die cut or fussy cut from our Designer Series paper, and it features the painted texture embossing folder in the background just to make it pop a little bit more. So each of these designs you'll create 2 of, so you'll get 2 of those. Now this shaker card, yours is gonna look just a little bit different. We will be featuring the ice cream sprinkles in our card, but this is a shaker card. Same thing we're gonna do, just different gems in your class kit. Again, the only thing that's stamped is the sentiment. The rest are all Designer Series paper pieces. So this is a really fun shaker card to create. Our basic You Snailed It, again, super simple. Our only stamping here is our sentiment. This is from our Designer Series paper. And then our last project will be this really fun fancy fold project that features the Snail Mail stamp with Bermuda Bay ink. So if you like these projects, this is our April class kit. Like I mentioned, deadline to register is this Saturday, and the details on these projects and how to register will be in the description of this video after I'm done today. Before I jump into my projects, I have 2 other things. The new 2021-2022 annual catalog debuts in less than a month. So I've received my 12 cases of catalogs that are in my office right now, ready to be prepped. If you are not currently working with a demonstrator, or you haven't placed an order with me in the last 6 months, attended a class or an event, or a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, there will be a link in the description of this video so you can reserve your copy after this video is done. So definitely you want to check out this new catalog. Unfortunately, it does not come spiral bound. I did that myself. But the new annual catalog is great. Like I mentioned, I've got 12 cases of these. They're ready to go for reserving your copy. So if you don't work with a current demonstrator and you haven't placed an order with me in the last 6 months, you can fill out the description in the link and you can reserve your own copy. And if you are new to Makers Monday, each week I do a free project PDF that is located on my website. It has all of the details and the descriptions, the item numbers, the prices of the projects that we are using today. It has the dimensions of the projects, and this is free on my website. So pair this with this video and you can complete these projects yourself at home at your own time. All right, let's get started with our projects today. We have 2 very fun and bright Snailed It projects here. I love these little guys. They're so fun and cute, and you know what? You don't even have to color them in. These are Designer Series paper pieces that you can either die cut with the snail dies, or you can fussy cut these out. We're gonna fussy cut them out today, just so I can show you how quick and easy it is to do that as well. So let's get started with our first project here. We are featuring the brick and mortar embossing folder, our Designer Series paper, and our Calypso Coral sentiment. or sorry, not Calypso Coral, Coastal Cabana sentiment. We're also gonna use these little resin hearts that are our prize patrol for this week. And let's get started. I have a piece of Coastal Cabana cardstock cut at 5.5 by 8.5. This is a piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock cut in half and scored down the middle. We're gonna fold that in half, and we're going to use our bone folder here to crease up our line and get that ready to go for our project. Now I have a piece of 3 3/4 by 5 1/8 designer series paper. This is the back side of that paper from our shaker card that I just showed you. And we're gonna adhere this to our card base using Stampin' Seal adhesive. So just gonna run that along the edges and make sure our card's going the right way. And we're gonna place that right in the middle there. Now I've already used a piece of blushing bread cardstock. I pre-embossed this using the brick and mortar embossing folder. Now this is an embossing folder from our annual catalog. This is one of our 6x6 embossing folders. So you'll need to use the big Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine for this. Now this runs vertical on the embossing folder, so you'll turn it sideways. And the best part is it has this black line right here. So you can easily line up your cardstock to know that it is straight as you run it through the embossing folder. So just make sure if you want to use the brick and mortar embossing folder, you have your pieces of brick facing the right direction, and then you can run that through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I have 2 pieces of the Snailed It designer series paper. These are 1/2 inch by, let me make sure, sorry, 3 3/4 of an inch by 3 3/4. So it's gonna go from one edge of our mat to the other. What we're gonna do is we're gonna come in with our Tombow liquid glue, and on the back side of our embossed piece, we're just gonna take a little bit of Tombow glue and we're gonna put that right on our piece of designer series paper. Now this is really easy to line up because these hearts run down the side of the designer series paper. So you can just line up your cardstock with the bottom of the hearts, and that's how you know your paper is straight. We're just gonna do a little peekaboo of the designer series paper on the back here. You can choose how much you want of it to show, but I'm just gonna do a little bit of a peekaboo of that paper just to make it stand out against our Blushing Bride piece of embossed cardstock. Okay, now we're gonna run our liquid glue around the whole thing. You can use Stampin' Seal adhesive for this, but when I have embossed pieces, I like to use liquid glue because it really gets into the grooves of our embossed pieces here. Sometimes with the Stampin' Seal or Stampin' Seal Plus, it doesn't really get into the grooves of the embossed pieces, so I just like to use liquid glue for those embossed pieces to really get the glue inside the grooves there. We're placing that about 1/2 inch from the bottom of our card base, and we're gonna work on our sentiment here. I've got Coastal Cabana ink, and our stamp, I'm gonna use the one that says "You Snailed It." I like the punny sentiments on this. This project would be great for a congratulations card. You could even use this as a happy birthday card. Just really any type of card to really lift somebody's spirits for this. I've got a piece of basic white cardstock that I've pre-cut using the Stitch to Sew Sweetly dies. Now these dies are from the annual catalog and are carrying over into next year's catalog. Which is great because this is a really basic shape to have for cards. So we're gonna stamp this on the left side of our die cut piece, and we're gonna adhere that to our card base. And we're gonna put that in the lower left-hand corner. I did this because our snail piece is a little taller. I wanted the sentiment to really show through and then still have that space on the right side for us to cut out our snail. Now, like I mentioned, this stamp does have the same image you can stamp and color in, but if you're really wanting to create easy and quick cards, the designer series paper is perfect for this. So you can already see it's already colored in for you. You don't have to have Stampin' Blends markers, and you can just cut these out. Now, the dies do fit this image. Unfortunately, this image does not have a die to go with it, so we are gonna fussy cut these guys both out today. And while I'm here, I'll cut this one out as well, because we're gonna use that for our next project. And all these little envelope pieces, those have a coordinating die with it as well. So you can create your own shaker card using these pieces that you can just die cut from the card. So we're gonna cut out this snail first. And the best part is all the time that you save with coloring, you can fussy cut these. He's more rounded in shape, so he's very easy to just cut out with your scissors. And as you see, I am holding my scissors steady, but I'm moving my paper. I find when I fussy cut, this is the easiest way, is to hold my paper, to move my paper and to hold my scissors steady. It gives me more control with getting around edges. Now I want to get around the eyeballs a little bit and down in between them and just do a little bit of a cutout. Not forgetting, I don't want to cut off the eyelashes, so just a little rounded bit there. And you can see how easy it was to cut that out. All right, so we're gonna save that for our next card. And on the back of this little guy, I'm gonna put Stampin' Dimensionals. I want him really to stand out from the rest of the project. So we've got 3 Stampin' Dimensionals on the back here. Now, if you're not too familiar with what Stampin' Dimensionals are, they create height on your project. So they allow pieces to really stand out. They don't create too much bulk, so you can still mail these cards, even with that extra height to the card. And then as a final touch, we're gonna come in with our resin heart embellishments, our prize patrol item for the week. And we're just gonna use our take your pick tool and do 4 little hearts onto the project. Oh, I wanted to start down here and work my way up. I like the take your pick tool for these little tiny pieces. It helps you get more control and placement of them. If you try to pick these off with your fingernails, they'll just go flying across the room and you'll never be able to find these on your floor. So the take your pick tool is great. It gets under that adhesive, just really sticks to the embellishment. And that is our first project featuring the Snailed It bundle. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I hope you guys like it. Like I mentioned, this is a quick and simple project for any skill level to be able to create. You don't have to be an avid crafter to create this because all you have to do is stamp 1 image. And even if you don't have all these supplies, you could still do this piece here without it embossed and it would still look amazing. So here's our first project. I hope you guys like that one. Let me know what you guys think. All right, our second project. We are gonna create our own background designer series paper. With this stamp set, it's very easy to be able to do this, and you actually don't need any other supplies except your eyeballs to be able to create this. So first things first is I'm gonna cover my workspace because we may be doing a little bit of stamp off. So what stamp off is I'm gonna be stamping these word bubbles here, and it may get on your workspace. So you wanna make sure that your space is covered if you're gonna create this project. We have a piece of basic white cardstock. Again, 5.5 by 8.5, a piece of 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock cut in half and just scored down the middle. We're gonna use our bone folder to crisp up our line so it'll hold our project flat. And we're gonna put that off to the side. I have a piece of real red cardstock. This is cut at 3 3/4 by 5 1/8, which is my basic mat size for my projects. And then another piece of Whisper White cardstock. This is just a 1/2 inch smaller on each side. So, or sorry, a 1/4 inch smaller on each side. So we have 3.5 by 4 7/8, and then our bigger piece is 3 3/4 by 5 1/8. So just a 1/4 inch smaller on 2 sides will get you perfect mat size for our project. We're gonna use Real Red and Coastal Cabana for our project. For our word bubbles, we're gonna start with this stamp here, which is just the plain word bubble. Now, if you get this set, you may notice that there is a piece here in the middle. We're not gonna use that. You don't wanna use that when you stamp. So Stampin' Up! Fills in or takes out the rubber piece there. So when you're stamping, it doesn't get a halo effect for your image. So you don't get ink in the middle there. It creates that negative space so it doesn't pick up any ink. We're gonna use our Coastal Cabana first. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start in the upper left-hand corner. We're gonna ink up and we're just gonna stamp once. And that will be our guide. So we're gonna stamp again here and one more. Now you can see there's a little bit of side here that you're gonna need to stamp. So just to show that it has that continuous line. Now from here, you're going to stamp in between the two. So you're gonna create a triangle, and then you're gonna use that as your guide for stamping the next line of images. And then you do the same thing again. You're gonna line up your stamp in between these two here. Oh, I got a little bit of halo there. That is okay. We will continue on. We're gonna stamp and there, again here, and then we're going to do the same thing. We're gonna just misalign everything on every other line so that it looks like it's one big piece of designer series paper. Now at the top here, you're gonna stamp to create the little in-between lines for this. And you can just fill in the sections where the word bubbles could be. So then you create your own designer series paper. This is easy to do with any background stamp that you want, or any stamp in general. All you have to do is move everything and kind of misalign each line from each other, and then you can create your own background images. We're gonna use Real Red, and there is a stamp that says hello, little teeny tiny stamp. And this one, I'm gonna use a little bigger block. And we're gonna stamp our hellos right in the middle of our word bubbles. I like using our stamps to create my own designer series paper look. It's a great way to stretch your stamps so you can get more out of them. Like I mentioned, this can be done for any stamp set that you have. You just do repeating images and you can create your own designer series paper background. And then once you get to the bottom here, we've got our background piece. I'm gonna move my snail, like on here I've got it off to the right hand side. Because I have that little halo piece there, I'm gonna alter my card just a little bit to try to cover that up. We're gonna adhere our designer series paper, faux designer series paper, to our Real Red card base using Stampin' Seal. And we're gonna lay that down here in the middle. This is such a great idea. Oh, thanks, Leanne. I'm glad you like that. Hi, Carol. Hi, Marie. Thanks for watching. All right, so we've got that little mess up here. We're gonna try to cover this up. So instead of my card with my snail on the right side, we're gonna cover it up and put it on the left. So everything that you do, if you create a little boo-boo like I did, it's very easy to cover that up. And if you can't cover that up, there's always the other side of the paper. As I always say, craft happens, and that's why there's another side of the piece of paper. Now, unfortunately, if you mess up the other side of the paper, well, then there's a whole package of cardstock as well. So we're gonna adhere our die cut piece. Now, this is that die that I had mentioned that kind of looks like a little picture frame. So we've got this little die here. This is the designer series paper, the other side of the snails that we just cut out. So we've got our little Bermuda Bay swirls going on, and we're gonna adhere this with tape runner, and we're gonna tilt that so that's on there. We're gonna come back with that designer series paper that I had already cut this little guy from. So we're gonna fussy cut him out. Like I mentioned, there unfortunately is not a die for him, but the other snail there is. So we can fussy cut him out though. He's very easy to do. He's a little more intricate than our last one, but he still is very easy to cut out. And he has a little bow tie like my dachshund does, a little red bow tie. So I think he's very cute. So you can get more detailed and intricate as you want with fussy cutting. You can get really close to the black lines. You can give yourself a little white border. I like to give myself a white border. And then you can determine how close into the actual lines you want to go. You know, do you want to cut into the indentations? Do you want to just kind of cut around them? With fussy cutting, it really is up to you how you want to cut these out. So we've got our snail here, and quick cut him out using scissors because unfortunately there is not a die for him today. We're gonna use dimensionals on the back. We're gonna pop him up so he stands out on our card. And then I had, where's my paper at? Oh, I forgot to grab it. Let me grab it really quick. We've got our designer series paper here, has these little word bubbles, and they're all different. So they say hello, bonjour, hello. So because Stampin' Up! Is a global company, we have designer series paper that is in all languages. So I'm gonna put him on my card, and I'm gonna do, let's do the hello, this red one here, because that fits him going the opposite direction this time. You can use dies to cut these out, but again, it's quick and simple because it's one big circle basically to be able to fussy cut these guys. If you want, you can line up your dies and die cut all of these little different word bubbles out. I'm gonna use dimensionals on the back of that. Just one will be plenty for this, and we're gonna put that there. I've got the Petal Pink Baker's Twine. Now this comes in a combo pack, same page as our Snailed It Suite on page 54, 55 of the January through June mini catalog. This comes in a combo pack with Whisper White and the, oh sorry, it's Blushing Bride, not Petal Pink. It's Blushing Bride, and so we're gonna do a quick bow with this. I like Baker's Twine because it is a little thicker. It does have kind of the width to be able to tie easy bows into it. And we're gonna trim off the edges. Hi Cindy, thanks for watching from Washington. Wow, thank you, hello. I hope you're enjoying Makers Monday today. We're making some projects using the Snailed It bundle. And we're just gonna put our piece of Baker's Twine right there. And I'm gonna put a block on that just to kind of hold it down. With our liquid glue, you want to give it a few seconds to be able to bond to the paper. And with ribbon, especially Baker's Twine, it's really thin, so you want it just to give it a few seconds to bond to the paper, and our clear blocks are perfect for holding that down. We're going to use dimensionals on the back of this to adhere it to our card base. We've got I like to use, when I have a bigger piece, 5 dimensionals, 1 on each corner, and then 1 in the middle, just to kind of hold everything down. Make sure we got them all off. Oops. And we're gonna adhere that to our basic white card base. And then as a final touch, we've got our embellishments, our resin heart embellishments here. We're gonna put a red heart right in the lower corner here. And then of course, it wouldn't be a Stampin' Blondie project without some Wink of Stella. So if you're not too familiar, Wink of Stella is our glitter brush. This has no loose glitter in it. I have no loose glitter in my craft room. My husband's in the military and any loose glitter can get on his uniform, so that's bad. So we are gonna use a Wink of Stella glitter brush. It's perfect for focusing that glitter right where you want it, and it's not messy. That's the best part. I'm adding a little bit of glitter to his bow tie and then the blacks on his eyes. Now the best part of Wink of Stella, obviously other than not being loose glitter, is that it's buildable. So you just give it a few seconds to dry and then you can go back and add in more Wink of Stella to add more glitter to your project. So just a little bit on his bow tie and a little bit in the eyeballs. And we have our second project today for Makers Monday, featuring the Snailed It bundle and some really fun Wink of Stella on this project. I like this one. I think this one's perfect because you can use this for so many different occasions. Like our last one, this could be a birthday card, a congratulations card, a thinking of you card. Really any kind of card can be, any kind of occasion can be used for this card. All right, so let's bring in our final projects here to showcase. So these were the 2 projects that we created today using our Snailed It bundle. Now don't forget our August projects April projects that coordinate with our projects today. So if you're interested in taking April's card class, this is a virtual class to go, so no matter where you live, you can participate in our class. Deadline to register for that is this coming Saturday, so if you're interested, make sure to sign up. Details will be in the description of this video. All right, so thank you everybody for joining me for another week of Makers Monday. I hope you enjoyed my projects today featuring the Snailed It bundle. Now, you are in for a real treat next week for Makers Monday. If you know me and if you follow me, you know that I have 2 miniature dachshunds and they're actually here in the room with me and have been snoozing away the whole time. Next week, I will be creating some really fun projects using the hot dog stamp set from the January through June mini catalog. My #1 absolute favorite stamp set from that catalog I will be showcasing to you with some fun projects for Makers Monday. I hope you all can join me next week, and I hope you have an amazing week. Bye.